All right. Got us. Okay, so we're going live YouTube. I'm trying to do like a couple live things. And let's see here. Make sure everybody's getting tuned in okay. Okay, so I guess we're live. So, welcome to the Night Jiu-Jitsu channel, and me and Jared Jessup are here tonight. We're at IQ Athletics, or I'm sorry, IQ Jiu-Jitsu. Used to be IQ Athletics. IQ Jiu-Jitsu in Illinois, and we're going to do a little live streaming tonight. And what we're trying to do is a little like a, we call it Ask Us Anything or Ask Me Anything, which is something they do on different platforms, you know. But we're going to take any kind of questions that you guys have. We'd like to keep it towards Jiu-Jitsu, but I guess if you want to ask other stuff, then you know, we can do that too. So, and you can get a little closer to this one. All right, so we're going to wait for some questions to start to pop up, and then we'll start to address it. If we don't get some in just a few minutes, then we'll start going ahead and talking about some topics that we kind of had to discuss anyway. While we're waiting, let's see. Oh, okay. We've already got a few questions. All right, so who's your favorite martial arts YouTuber besides me? Oh, of course you are. Yeah. Man, I like Chewy a lot. Chewy is fantastic. That's probably one of my favorites. Of course, I love Henry Huron. Racing Breakdown is fantastic. You got anybody?
You're my
let's see. Awesome. Alex from Belgium. What's up, Belgium? I used to meet somebody from side control. Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, how do we submit somebody from side control? Bottom or top? Let's talk about top first, and just to make it interesting, then we'll talk about bottom. So there's a way we can approach it, like for submission opportunities from top side control. If I've got Jared here, he's bottom side control like this here. And yeah, so yeah, so Bob, come over to
Also, a shout out to Bob Adams. He's behind doing the camera, doing the filming right here. So,
yeah. So
thanks, Bob.
If it turns out good, then thanks, Bob. And if it turns out bad, then this is Bob's fault. So, when we get to side control, then first things I have to kind of establish a position. I have to make sure things are stabilized. I have to make sure that my base and structure is not being threatened immediately. So I want to do that and go through kind of a little bit of a checklist. But as soon as I can, I'd like to keep him busy and go through some attack opportunities. Now, there's better platforms to attack from than just like here, holding and stabilizing, but I have to stabilize first to some degree. What I tend to like to do here, whenever I get in this position, there's different ways we can approach it, and it depends a lot on his energy. If I have my preference about it, a lot of times what I'll wind up doing is I'll get here, and then I'll start to bug here. And this is something I actually stole from Jared, because I like to use this, I call it evangelist control right here. Nobody likes this, and it's annoying really bad, and you get a reaction out of it. But you can also go here and you can bug in that. Whatever that is, he's gonna draw attention to that, and so then I like to typically like try to staple that arm down. Now I'll take one arm out of commission, and I can isolate this arm over here. From there, what I tend to find myself going to more than anything is I keep this underhook on this side. I'm gonna windshield wiper and swap out the legs here like this, and then I'm gonna stabilize over here and see what he gives me with this arm. If he's still kind of hugging and trying to hide that arm from me, then I'll kind of keep moving through this. I'll drop this knee to this side over here, and then keep driving across. You can go underneath both of them too here and isolate his head and his arm like you're threatening an arm triangle, or I'm sorry, like you're threatening a triangle. But you can isolate this arm really well here like this, and then we'll go across, go straight arm. You can go Americana if it goes branch up, or you can scoot down here this way here, balance, and then you start to attack for two more off of this side too. So those give you like 3 good attack options right there from that shin staple on the bicep. And I find myself using that more than anything. There's a lot of fancy stuff we can do, but that's a solid series from right there.
Sometimes if the guys keep it staying glued with the arm around my back, I have a hard time accessing it. Sometimes I'll slide the knee up, the hand kind of deep in the V right here between his shoulder and his ear, and step the leg over, and I want to control between the elbow and the shoulder. So as he goes to rip the arm away, he gets caught, right? I want to let my his wrist stay between the ear and the shoulder, so you can follow him. You can come and finish right here from top sometimes. So And sometimes that's a way to make space. It hasn't given you that arm for the series that I was talking about. So
Those are. Okay, just 1 second. We're still live over here on Facebook. Let's see if we're maintain ourselves live here. This way.
Eli got a phone call, so we're waiting on the YouTube feed to catch back with us.
So unprofessional of me to.
So next
There we
time,
go.
just hit.
Okay,
the
we're
red-
back. Okay.
Just
All right. So, yeah, just hit the live. Yeah. All right. Trying to be professional here, guys. Sorry about that. Now we were talking about submissions from side control, and that was a question. But you could interpret that one of two ways. Most likely, that's from being on top because we think about position before submission, establish the dominant position, and then submit from there. But you also have submission opportunities from bottom side control, and some of those, like we kind of mentioned about that. Since we have a lot of questions popping up, goodness, then I'm going to talk about one submission I like more than anything from bottom side control. I'll mention this on a recent video that I did, so you can check that out. It's my triangles video. But when we get here, sometimes like if he's got my arms a bit isolated and I'm kind of wrapped up like this, what I like to do, and I got this from Braulio Estima actually, I like to kind of like try to take the head out of alignment a little bit here if I can. I want to try to bridge and punch here with my bicep to his tricep and go this way here. Now, if his arm gets trapped, I may roll him, right? But a lot of times he'll base on this arm here so that he can prevent that roll. And then from there, I'm gonna like try to rearrange or redirect this when he pulls it back. Because he'll try to pull his arm back, and when he does, I'm gonna bring my leg up and I'm gonna hook it over here. Then I'm gonna pull his wrist over my ankle and then lock it in like this. Now from here, I could get a little Americana sometimes. So I keep his head close to me and I take his wrist back. There's a lot of pressure on his shoulder. If he beats me to it, he wants to relieve some of that pressure, he'll straighten that arm, and then from there, he can jump up and he can go in here and go for the triangle on this side here, or you can reach over, grab the elbow this way, and pull that elbow down and across. I'm gonna bite with my chin here, and then grab his hand or his wrist and look for this Kimura on this side. So you kind of go across the body, Americana triangle, Kimura threat.
We do that again.
Yeah. So when we get here, I want to bridge here, bring the base, go by his wrist. Here, as he goes to pull it back, this leg's waiting to pull here nice and tight. I want to cross over like this to trap his wrist so he can't get it out easily. And I'm going to go up here and get this kind of shoot wrestling head control, pull him tight to me, and then pull my ankles back to get Americana. If he straightens his arm and beats me to it, I jump here this way, try to finish up for the arm for the triangle here. Or if I'm not getting the triangle, come slide my head down to his wrist, pull that elbow across, bite on the wrist here with my chin, and then go here, and then look for the Kimura on that side. So it's a nice little series across the board like that. Let's check out some more questions, guys. Thank you guys for all these questions. Good grief. Greetings from Spain. Hola. Brazil. Man, so many people. Thank you guys so much. I want to start training BJJ. Do you have any criteria for what a good school should look like? It depends on your goals. Like, why do you want to start training BJJ? Are you interested in competition? Are you interested in sport? Are you interested in self-defense and fitness? There's a lot of different reasons, and there's a lot of different benefits for training in BJJ. I like a big mixture. I like to study the totality of the art and all it has to offer. So I look for a school that has a good self-defense program, good foundation, good fundamentals, a clean environment, a polite training environment. Clean is huge.
Clean and friendly.
Clean and friendly. Those are absolutely big things. And where they clearly outline what's expected of you whenever you come to train. If you come in and you don't know what's going to happen from night to night, you don't know what kind of people you're going to encounter, that can be a problem sometimes. What other kind of things do you think about picking a school to train at?
I like to, is everyone trying to kill each other, or is it a place where you'll be able to train your whole life? You should see a good mixture of people in the class. It shouldn't be all. Everyone shouldn't be like built and just like the instructor, right? You want to see a diverse group because it means that the lessons are appealing to a broad spectrum of individuals.
Yeah, you might go in with the intention of like, I just want to be a killer. I want to get like just completely savage, and I want to go wreck stuff at tournaments, and that's my goal. I want to go into MMA, and you're just a beast of a 25-year-old, going in there. But then you train for 6, 7, 8 years, and you're like, oh man, I'm getting really beat up. I'm not able to really sustain this kind of training. Can you still train at the same school, or are you going to be out because you're not a beast anymore? So I mean, you want to find that longevity. You want to find that good, sustainable training environment. I think that's very important. Let's see. Unique passes out of full guard. unique. Increase movement, Jiu-Jitsu, better. Okay, so Bryant is asking unique passes out of full guard.
Unique ones.
We can get really unique with this. Now, unique, why do you need unique? Just for the cool factor, because we can do that, that's cool. Or if you want to have something that's very fundamental, if you need unique, is in like, are they going to see it coming? You know, like if it's something that is going to throw them off. For closed guard, what do you got?
So there's a ton of options right here you can choose from. So we'll look at first off just something you can do that he might not be expecting completely. So maybe once I get the legs broken open, I come underneath with my hands. So look, I'll get a grip right here on his belt, and I'll put my weight on my hands and then hop my feet up. From here, I can bring all the way over right here. Drop the knee down and come over to the turtle position right here. So it's kind of a slick, nifty way. He doesn't always see it coming. You can switch between that and a double underhook pass, right? So, of course, why do you go on? You want to do one?
No, I think it's pretty good. I mean, we can talk about that one a lot, but that's a great pass. Anytime you get double unders, that's a good one. If the guy starts playing heavy leg on you, you can really let up the guy and go straight into turtle.
One note on that, when you hop up, make sure that you take the weight off the hands and back up your heels so you can stand up easily. Bring the hips forward and the shoulders back.
Yeah, you want to do a deadlift, not like a good morning.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So for this one's, you want to get really unique. Like so, what we'll do here is if we're using the gi, because the gi tends to make things a little more unique. So I want to like try to bunch this out here. So if I can like loosen up his gi here a little bit, then what I like is like if he's playing in here on the collar or anything like that, if I can get this stripped. And then I can take a piece of his skirt here, and then I can like start to stretch this over his arm here like this, right? And so what we're gonna look to do is like I'm gonna try to walk over this way and feed this arm through under and behind his back. And so like if I can get this behind his back pretty good, then I'll take this piece of the skirt and I'll pass it over to that hand here. So now this one's trapped. This one's like pretty well trapped on this side. So
you got these T-Rex hands.
yeah, he's got the T-Rex arms going on. So then from there, now what we'll look to do is here. So you can see how I've kind of got his arm trapped, so he's not going to be super threatening with that. And then we can start walking this out. Now what I like to do is combine this with like a bit of a Sao Paulo pass. And the Sao Paulo pass is basically, there's a couple different ways you can do it. But what I like is to kind of put tension on his legs and then do a bit of a sit out. And so the sit out's going to look like this here, right? And as we go to the sit out, I want to keep this one down. I want to press my shoulder inside. And then I want to try to get his legs popped apart here, which isn't too bad because of the pressure I'm creating on his arm and keeping that gi on the side over there. Now, I'm going to back this up until I'm clear of this, and I'm going to step over this way here. And I'm going to probably block this, depending on how he's fighting this, and then reach up to the collar, pull his shoulder down this way, and then eventually I'll get my elbow to the other side here, and then start to look. If he's still trying to hang on to half guard or anything like that, this knee coming inside can stretch the legs apart. But the whole thing that makes this kind of unique is that arm trap like that is really annoying, and the guy's attention tends to really focus all right there whenever he gets in that position. So.
I got another unique one. So,
yeah.
So I've done this in a really long time. It's really flashy. I wouldn't recommend using it, but you guys are unique. So
cool factor.
Yeah, cool factor. So I get the legs broken open again with a double underhook. Now look, I'm gonna take my hand. It's gonna go to the ground right here. And once my head goes to the ground, my hands stay hooked. I'm just gonna hop over and back. Right. From here, I turn back in towards him. I've cartwheeled kind of past the guards.
That was really good too. If you trap that bottom leg here. Sorry. Why'd you ask this question?
Yeah.
So if you can get this trapped here, which is a really good way to do it, then and I want to reach over this leg and around and grab and hold onto that foot.
Show him where you're holding it.
Yeah. So I'm reaching over his leg and grabbing his foot on this side and keeping it stuffed underneath him. And then this one here, I'm gonna like hug and tight like this to trap that femur on that side. And I put my head on the floor here like this. Now the trick to this is you can do a full flip like Jared into a bridge, or you can get up to like a handstand and switch the legs here. So like here this way, and then come down this side here to make sure that I clear it. So
notice how he's going to the side of my spine away from his head though. He's not popping towards takes a bunch of his spine.
Yeah, I'll end up scorpioning myself on that side. So like I get here, if I can get this trapped, and this could happen in different ways, we don't have time to go into all that, but we'll here, I put my head down on this side here, go up this way here, and then pop to this side to come over, and then we'll pass. So some cool little tricky guard passes that come in handy. Let's see, sorry if I skip around guys, I'll try to go back as best I can. When did you start doing BJJ and why? before it was called BJJ. Before it was cool. Yeah, no, it is. Well, so I started in around 92 or 93. I was in high school. That's how old I am. And I started in a style called Jiu-Jitsu. It had Japanese and Filipino origins, and I was doing that for a few years. And then in '93, whenever, right after '93, whenever the UFC hit and everybody just exploded with watching Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and watching the Gracie family and Hoist Gracie in the UFC, obviously, we started to see that. And we're like, well, we're already doing Jiu-Jitsu. What makes this Jiu-Jitsu different? And so we started to follow Hoist, and we would go to seminars, we'd go to camps, we would try to track him down whenever we could train with him to learn from the man, Pretty soon he started seeing us like so regularly, he asked us to become a training association under him, and we've been with him basically ever since. So like 20-something years ago,
I think.
something like that.
22 years, I think?
Yeah. We were basically training the Gracie system for around 15-16 years before we got our black belts.
Yeah.
And that was in 2011, so about 8 years ago, we got our black belts. So, yeah. Why did we do it? Because so many reasons. I mean, I want to do martial arts all my life. You're a kid and you're young, you watch martial arts movies, and you want to. Everybody inherently wants to know how to fight and defend themselves and feel, safe and it's a cool factor too. There's something interesting and inherently in our nature about wanting to understand the nature of violence. Because there's part of it is fear, and that's why we're attracted to it. I feel like we could go into the psychology and all that stuff, but that's not the purpose of right now. Whenever I got into martial arts, I started doing Taekwondo. I did karate for a short period of time, Taekwondo for a little while. We did a lot of different martial arts over the years, as far as Muay Thai, Filipino martial arts, Judo, Tai Chi. We did Tai Chi. Yeah. So, for us, just particularly for how we felt, how we came into things and were engaged, Jiu-Jitsu was the best fit. It felt the most complete to us, and that's what resonated, I feel like.
My first class was after you got your black belt. Was the day after you got your black belt in class with Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say Jiu-Jitsu. And so.
Yeah, it was. So you were like 14.
That's good. Yeah, 13, I was 13. Yeah, I was 13.
Yeah. So we've been together for a little while. So let's see. First, well, I love you guys. Well, we love you too. And second, your channel has upped my game significantly. Okay, so I get these. I get a lot of comments about from people who say that my videos have helped them a whole lot, and I'm extremely grateful. Like I can't even talk about it. I'll get like emotional about it. But it's a huge thing for me to hear that, and I want to really make sure that people understand that what my videos are intended for. Because I get something from people telling me that it helps them because they don't have a regular place to train or a regular schedule they can train, and so they use these as videos for a big bulk of their training, or they have a regular place to train, and when they can't be training, they use these as supplemental things, or they'll go in and see something I did on a video and showed, and then they'll go in and say, oh, I hit this last night on somebody, and those are such fantastic things, and that's the lifeblood of this channel, and so I'm extremely grateful, and that's what this is about. We just got 100,000 subscribers on here, and I'm grateful for every single one of you guys. So, how can tournament style jiu-jitsu translate to self-defense?
Lots of ways.
Yeah, lots of ways. Go ahead, I've been talking for a while.
Okay. So, first off, the competitive side of tournament jiu-jitsu, the walking into an uncomfortable environment and testing yourself against someone who's there to test himself as well, it tends to make us perform, or to help us perform at a level that we may not perform at, typically speaking, in a regular class, right? And the preparation for for a kind of a peak performance in that one moment, it helps us get ready and organize our thoughts and our resources so that we can be our best on that given moment. And that organization around it helps us. A lot of times, it can help us reach, and find new levels of competence that we didn't know we had before. So it's super advantageous in those regards.
Yeah, I think that especially with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or the methodology that the Brazilians put to Jiu-Jitsu in the Gracie family, what we really saw out of that more than anything was that the way it was trained, because there was an inherent pressure testing that a lot of other martial arts like kind of that tend to promote and tend to advocate, but it wasn't quite as pressurized. I mean, you can really pressure test a lot of jiu-jitsu. You're going to perform it in practice very similar to how it would come out in actual violent situations. So whenever you come in and you're training and you're really under duress and you're really fighting hard to make this thing work or to defend yourself in these positions and in these situations, like that's something that is going to really I call it a kneading process, but like kneading dough. It's like it's a toughening process. And the good thing about it too is that it's actually, even though it can be very tough training sometimes, you know, it's still very like gradual of what it's doing to
and controlled,
and very controlled too. So it's something that's really unique about that. So that's the biggest benefit, I think. As far as like specifically technically, how can tournament style or sport style jiu-jitsu translate to self-defense? There's a lot of anything from the fundamental aspect of it, the structural fundamental aspect is teaching you how to use your base, how to use your balance, how to use your alignment, and how to manipulate those things to the other person. All those principles and all those concepts translate from either self-defense or sport or anything, because you're only going to move a human so many ways. You're going to have to off-balance that human. You're going to have to like manipulate their structure and their alignment and their base. So, you know, learning how to do that in a sportive environment. Now, of course, there are going to be things that obviously don't translate. Yes. You know, you're going to put yourself, if you're, you know, when you're in competition, you're going to put yourself into a lot of situations where, yeah, if the person could punch you, if they could kick you, if they could do whatever, if they could pull a weapon out, then yeah, these are going to be things that you're going to need to take into consideration if you're training primarily for self-defense. But you're still getting the benefit of a lot of the inherent, like, fundamental foundational elements of training in both environments, in my opinion. I think I like both. I think that you need to have a strong foundation of self-defense, but I'm a big fan of the sport as well.
You develop your coordination, you know, in a way that that's going to help you, you know, unify your efforts and just be more precise with all the movements. And any of that training is going to, you're going to be able to use that in any self-defense type application.
How could you beat Kent Peters in a match? Yeah, I don't know. Like psychologically, I couldn't. Like he's as long as you could like not be too distracted by the tie-dye gi or the tie-dye like a supernatural survival gear, which I'm wearing Kent Peters stuff today actually. But it's, you know, that dude's amazing. Like if you're not watching Kent Peters' channel, like there's a few channels. Like somebody asked earlier, who your favorite YouTubers to watch. Kent Peters is on up there. Like I would have like silent like I wouldn't tell anybody about it, but inside I had this kind of challenge with myself early on. I was like watching Kent Peters and I'm like, I want to see if I can beat him to this landmark. We were at 5,000 or so. I want to see if I can beat him to 6,000 subscribers, you know? And it's like we're just kind of neck and neck and stuff. And then I smoked him. But then like, I love you, Kent. Then let's see. Oh, guard retention principles. So this is a cool question. What's your take on guard retention principles? And it depends, like why you're asking that, like what your intention for. I'm assuming you don't want to get your guard passed. How can you make it happen? On a principle level, there's something that has really blown my mind, and I got this mostly from Rafa Mendes, like listening to him, but it's absolutely brilliant in the simplicity of it. For Jared to pass my guard, if let's say standing pass, for Jared to pass my guard, typically he's going to need to get me out of alignment. And what he's really going to need to do, like, he needs to get my, as long as I have this V, I've got a much better defense. I don't want him to see my shoelaces here, right? I want the bottoms of my feet to be facing him, and I want to have kind of T-Rex arms, and I want to look for my grips. What I would really like is like if I can get my grips and he can get none of his. So something like this right here is a pretty good way to go about it. So I have a sleeve, I have collar, and I have this arm over here kind of controlled. But whatever it is, I want my feet facing him, I want my knees fairly drawn in. I don't want him to get my legs one side like this or the other. If he does that, look at almost every pass. If he's going to do like a Toriano pass, right? If he's going to do something like that, he needs look to get my leg down to the side. If he's going to do even a knee cut pass, you'll notice like this has to go down to the floor. So a lot of the things that I can do to stop him from passing my guard are required from here. So just something as simple as, and this is a Rafa Mendes principle I got from him. I don't know who else does it like this. But something very simple I can do is watch that if Jared is trying to push my legs one side or the other, is reinforce the leg here. If he wants to push my legs this side here, this right here, just that makes it it makes it really difficult. Now this is not an end all be all in itself. I still have to be active and I have to figure out what I'm going to do from here. But that little principle like that is magnificent to me. So that's one little thing. We could talk about that for a big long length of time. But those things, keeping your feet facing, keeping the knees drawn in, don't allow him to get the legs both on one side or the other, and take the hips out of alignment with the shoulders. Those huge to me. So
a couple of things you can look at as well would be if I've got this will use a closed guard.
Okay.
So if my guard's closed and he's looking to break the legs open, he usually needs to create pressure on my legs somehow. So to do that, a lot of times one side will come in to do that. So I'm going to connect with my legs, and I'm going to use that connection to uproot him. Now, I'm going to pull myself off the side and start to pull him over, so he's got to use the hand for his foundation. And if any kind of an off balance in a way that makes him use his hands for his foundation, and they can't be using those same hands to be attacking or breaking my guard open. So that can be beneficial as well.
All good things. All good things. Let's see. So it's guard retention principles. Thank you guys for all these questions.
Very good questions. Yes.
You guys are fantastic. Let's see. It's funny because a lot of you guys are answering each other's questions in the comments. That's kind of cool. How do you escape knee on belly? Yes, thank you so much. Let's see. Oh, check this out. So we got how to escape knee on belly, and the next question is how do you do a knee bar? I think I can tie those together. So if we go here, Jared's got knee on belly, and he can have a few different flavors of knee on belly. But typically knee on belly is going to require him here to have this knee on my belly, and then this one's going to be propped up somehow. So from this prop here, now I need to figure out his structure, his kind of base and what it's shaped like and everything. One of my favorite escapes to do from here, now there's, I'll show a couple different ones. One I like a whole lot is like if this is here and this is open, there's this open space. Whenever there's space, if I can be the first one to fill space, then it's usually a good thing. And I need to fill that space typically with a hinge joint, preferably as a knee or an elbow. So what I want to look to do here is I'm going to be careful, but I want to reach across to this side over here, and I want to kind of push this out a little bit. And as I'm doing that, I want to fill this space here with my knee this way. And once I get this up here, now, if I can get a hold of this here and kind of like wrap inside here, get my shin to his bicep. If he's got the sleeve, I'll grab the sleeve because that's better. If not, I'll grab the wrist. And I'll grab the pen over here, or I'll C-clamp if he doesn't have the pen. And then from there, now we can just make kind of a bit of a pendulum sweep where I'm going to base my foot on the floor, and then I'm going to like turn this direction. I'm going to punch this one up and pull here this way, and then come up to the top position. Maybe I can even exchange and get my knee on belly position after that. So that was a pretty simple one, and it's really effective. It happens quite a bit. The one I like the most, though, that I get the most use out of is this. When we get here in this position, I want to keep my elbows in nice and tight so it doesn't start attacking my arms. I want to get up on my side here. And then I like to distract more than anything with this, but this also does keep them in place for me. And then I want to go here, I want to take my elbow and my knee together and wrap my leg underneath his body like this. So you see kind of how I'm hooking my own leg here like this. And once I hook here, my foot connects on this side. And then again, I can grab here if there's material available. And then I want to scoot my hips, dish my hips that way, right? And once that happens here, it tends to take him off balance. Now, if I can be permitted to attack the legs, and I can do that from here, or I can just use this here to kick this across and come up into a bit of a leg drag position like this. Whenever we go here and I kick this across, if I am able to attack the legs, then something that I can look to do is just come around to the outside and then start to feed in to this kind of leg entanglement, or some kind of variation of that. But that's an escape I like a whole lot. You want to talk about how to get a knee bar, or how to?
Sure. Let me want to escape first. So all right, so sometimes, so that was all if his knee's kind of crossed. If the knee's like on my sternum, that can be kind of painful, right, and difficult to deal with. So one thing you can do it from here is take the hand and lace through and kind of cup his shin right here. This hand can push, and I'll kind of roll in towards him to get that to get the knee down into the ground. Now I use my leg right here to shuck him forward to help deal with any strikes or anything like that. Now I can use my hand to connect and start coming up and out the back door, okay? And right here as I come up, notice how my knee goes on the ground and my foot's on the other side so he doesn't roll for a knee bar, right? Right here. So,
that's good. No, that's really good. And Jared does that to me a lot. It's really, he's got a really uprooting game. It's really annoying. And that's a good, like illustration of how he does that. it's really frustrating. So,
knee bar?
Basically, I'll show you. You can show them. So, basic application of a knee bar. If you're starting to just learn knee bars and you want to learn like just a simple kind of basic application, then think about what we were talking about a while ago, how Jerry wants his feet facing me here. He doesn't want me to see the top of his feet. I want to see the top of his feet though, right? Because whenever we get here, if I can get the inside grips here and then just back up and pull these feet to the ground, and he lets me open him up. Now, if he doesn't, then we'll do something different. But if he lets me open him up like this, then I can just do something as simple as a back step and sit down right on top of his gut here. Once I step and I sit down, I'm going to hook up on this leg here. And just for a standard kind of basic application of a knee bar, I can fall either side right now. For this one, I would like to fall probably to this side over here. And once I do, I'm going to push up nice and high on this leg here. I want to get his Achilles tendon in the crease of my elbow here. I want my feet to cross and to pull his hip toward me like that, so that this leg is really straightened out. Now, here's some finishing details that people I think leave out sometimes, and this is really helpful for me. I want to pinch the flat of his foot between my ear and my shoulder. And whenever I go to do that here, so it's going to be very tight like that. I'm hugging still on the Achilles, and then I'm going to take this hand here and grab the heel, and I'm going to pull that up toward the ceiling. So there's a little bit of a corkscrew to it too. So it's a bit of a knee bar plus heel hook to it. So it's got that extension and it's got a rotation. So it's kind of nasty.
Yeah, so if you just kind of get his feet on my hips, when I want to peel this this foot so it's not connecting right here anywhere. That's what I need. So I can elevate right here. Now I'm gonna put my hand down right here on my ribs. And
this
then,
is a different knee bar.
Yeah, different knee bar. And I'm gonna slide my knee through and keep my elbow elevated right here. Now I have a seat, and this top leg is gonna bite high on his butt, calf behind his butt, on the top side of his spine to help mitigate the rotation. Now this hand ducks under, I cup, catch like almost in a rear naked choke, and put my ear right on his big toe. Pull my shoulders back and hips forward. Okay. It's another option.
Try not to get the guy's toe in your ear. You can get a bad like fungus or something.
And just so you know, those two fit together because I set the foot down, look at spin back, right? And he goes to scoot the hip away to stop that or whatever. I can pull up here and sit through this way. You see, or if I'm picking up here and he puts the foot down, then I can go back this way. So those two kind of fit.
Yeah. Lots of leg attacks. All right. Let's see. Skate knee on belly, we did that. Tax transitions. When your weak side wrist from the back and somebody's getting your shoulders to the back. So, okay, that was a little confusing right now. I'm trying to find an easier one and we might go back to that. Lesson under sneaky, dirty attack, sub or sweep. I've recently been using a push, not a kick, from bottom butterfly to make space. Anything similar? I've got plenty of dirty tricks from butterfly. I don't know about dirty tricks.
Dirty tricks in general.
We got lots of dirty tricks.
Dirty tricks.
All right. If you're just tuning in, you're tuning in at a good time because this is the dirty trick portion. So we're gonna start with, and I mean some of these like, let's first like talk about this for a second. What makes something dirty? What's a dirty trick in Jiu-Jitsu? I think if it's in catch wrestling, it's probably dirty Jiu-Jitsu. No, I love my catch wrestler friends. But for me, like a clean move, it's not dirty. A clean move would be something that is structurally like set and aligned a certain way, where like if a person continues on the course of action, it's like a checkmate. You know, so in a checkmate, you're not trying to destroy anything, and in checkmate, like the king never actually dies. He has to surrender because the next move is dead. Yeah. So like. That's kind of how I view like clean moves. Now dirty moves are where I'm going to be more grindy, I'm going to be more just looking to kind of cause pain to elicit a response, which there's nothing wrong with that because sometimes that's going to lead you to that cleaner submission. Dirty moves typically too are something you're going to make somebody tap just from the sheer like discomfort and pain of it, you know. The problem with those is that people have different pain thresholds, and something that might get me to tap because I'm like, oh, that's horrible and it's miserable, you know, or I feel like I'm gonna get my skull crushed, might not have any effect on somebody else. So I like the structurally like clean ones the best, but the dirty ones definitely have their place.
It's almost like you're breaking their will, rather than technically outperforming them, right? And there's a difference in those two.
Yeah, and it's just different. I'm not trying to say one's better than the other.
Also techniques of malice. So like some techniques will maim someone, and others you can catch them and release them, you know, and without even getting hurt. Yeah. Whereas some require like especially like ballistic type breaks and neck cranks, stuff like this. These are things where if the guy doesn't give up, he'll even start to protect category.
Yeah. So let's give some examples. Let's give some examples of like some dirty things. So from So let's get it. I'll show you a couple of my favorite dirty ones. We might talk about butterfly in a second. This is my favorite dirty move. I think it's a great move. It's from where I'm in the scarf hold. Now, when I get the scarf hold, like this is not typically for me a preferable position because I don't have the strongest scarf hold down, and I have limited submission opportunities from here to a degree. I mean, I can go for like kind of arm breaks and stuff like this, and I can go across here and step on the arm and get a neck crank and stuff like that. It's not my strongest game, but one that I do like a lot because if I get here and the guy's really worried about me attacking his arm, sometimes he'll hug onto me nice and tight like that, and I can get rolled, so I have to be careful of that. So one of my favorite moves to do from here is I'm going to pick him up and I'm going to roll and take my leg under here, and I'm going to grab as deep under my hamstring as possible, not just the inside of my thigh, but under my hamstring. This one, I'm going to backstroke, and I'm going to find his near side leg, not his far side, but his near side leg here, this way. And then once I get that, I'm going to rock him up, and I'm going to grab the inside of this thigh over here, this way. Yeah, and then I want to use my legs to squeeze this together here, like that, and it's pretty miserable.
He actually caught me with this not too long ago.
Yeah. And so, like, it's tough because you don't feel like it's going to be as powerful as it is, but you're using the whole core, you're using your shoulders and you're using your legs and thighs to squeeze all that together. It's real constricting. It's miserable.
I just imagine one of those like air blowers for the
like a bellows.
Yeah, like they can pump the fire with, and like whenever he's doing that to me, I feel like just everything's being squeezed out of me. Yeah. And it's like you can breathe out, but you can't breathe back in. Yeah. And it's like a slow, miserable death. And you can't breathe back in.
Yeah, that one's Boss Ruby made that one really popular. I learned that one from Carlos Machado a long time ago. But Boss Ruby made that really popular back in pancrase days. What's another dirty?
Here's one I use from the top. It's kind of a lot of times I use it no-gi, so carry it back. So if I'm right here, I walk the hand through deep, and you gotta be careful with this because I'm giving my foundation, so you might roll me, but nonetheless, it's still effective. So I want to get the V of the arm deep in the V between his ear and his shoulder. Okay, I'm gonna let that arm kind of settle in there. Now my fist is gonna go right in his neck right here. Okay, once my fist goes in the neck to plug the carotid, I grab my wrist and then bring it back down. Now, what's weird is this hasn't started choking me yet. The nasty part's of this. His neck is in between my fist and my bicep. So I'm gonna take my shoulder down to my knuckles and watch what happens. Ugh. Yeah. You see, his neck is right there. So it's just like a crushing, but it also chokes, right? So I plug the carotid artery, I find the wrist, my elbow goes down, and I start to take my shoulder down to the knuckles. And it's gross.
It is unpleasant.
But it also chokes, right? It's a blood choke too. Yeah. But pretty rough. Also, another one I like is just choking. A lot of people consider that like kind of dirty. I don't personally.
I'll change my opinion right over the years. Yeah. Because I'll do this quite a bit. Like if somebody's going to play 100% defense with me, then I want to get a response from that. So yeah, this is a sequence I recently put this video on Instagram, but this is a sequence I've been using a lot lately, where somebody, if they're playing 100% defense on me, this is where I kind of go to. If I get mount position, this is a very good place. So yeah, I'll just get here and just go straight up like this. Now, I don't roadhouse it and try to rip their trachea out or anything like that. I just like post and I put my weight.
That would be a technique of malice.
Yes. That'd be rude. So I go here and he's gonna react to that. Now if he reacts to it, then I'm gonna slide up and get into this kind of position here, and I'm gonna get this nice tight S mount. And so then from here now we can look at a couple other dirty things here. I've been calling it a do-si-do Americano, where I scoop in by the wrist and I come here and I hook by his elbow, gable grip my two hands, and I pull his elbow toward me and grab my shoulder into his wrist right there. Now, if we get here though, we want to look at a dirty move, we get here like this, and I'm not feeling that for some reason, I can go here and just get straight in on the wrist lock. The wrist locks are inherently evil, and you lose a lot of friends in training by going for wrist locks a lot of times. So we get here, and then there's a nice little wrist lock, very hard.
That we both go for them all the time.
Oh, for sure, yeah, you know. Don't do the white belts, it's kind of rude, you know, it's like, but we get here, now if he wants to defend, he's gonna have to use that other arm probably to do it, and then that's gonna give me access to be able to get this, and then step over, and now we have a nice little, like, really tight arm bar there. So that's a good little sequence that I like, and you can put dirty stuff into it, or you can keep it clean, whatever.
I say sometimes when I use it, so I like to see them. A lot of times I use the double hand too. So you put your
Straight murder to
I have to look him in the eye, right? So my hands come together right here, and as my thumbs kind of wrap on the trachea, the pressure down pushes my fingers through the carotid. Now I want to be careful when I do this not to give him my weight. I'm just strangling the life out of it. So
let's not get this banned from YouTube.
oh yeah. So I take the grip, my fingers come around, but I want to keep my weight back as the fingers come in to shut down the carotid. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. But yeah, with the idea though that like if he wants to respond and react to that, it's going to be a big response, and it's going to
The hands have to come up, right? They got to come up. So it starts exposing the high mount and S mount and you type arm bars and walk the legs up, stand on the hips, and all that stuff. So
yeah, awesome. Okay. Cool. Defense, stand ready, push behind the knee, oh, you're answering. Some of you guys are answering other questions, which is cool. That's really cool. I appreciate the help because I can't field all these. Let's see. Can I see defend against the triangle choke? Yes, you can. Defense against triangle choke. So let's go standard kind of triangle choke. Jared's got a really good one that I would like to show. I'll let him show that one because it's really cool. So I divide this into early, middle, late. When you're talking about like submission attempts on his part to defend against, we're talking about early, middle, late. Early is basic. Let's turn this real big. And Bobby can move along. But if we go here and he's throwing this up, early is where I can still keep this arm back, right? Middle would be middle, and then late would be over here for my estimate of it, right? So if I can stay early, then what I would like to do here is like I want to go both my hands over to this side. And if I got material, then I can grab material. I want to put my hand against him here or against his ribs or whatever, and then I'm going to use my lat to push my elbow back. And I'm going to try to jog my back leg and my elbow back and down to the floor here. And then I'm just going to kind of turn and like bulldog it over here. So I'm going to get my butt up in the air, get up on my toes, and then turn until I can bust that out that way. That to me is a good one. My middle escape is if he gets the arm here and I'm not able to get the hand to the ribs, then what I want to do is I want to stack him up. I have to be careful because he's going to funnel up all over. I want to stack him up this way, get both my knees underneath, so I can connect it here, and get both my knees underneath, and then I'm going to sit and pull him up on my lap. Now once he's up on my lap here, what I want to look to do is I want to get inside this leg, so I'm going to put this hand down first, this one on top of it. If I go the other way, he can peel. So I want that. I want to go here, 1, 2, like this, and then I want to push the legs apart. But it's hard to push his legs apart because they're strong. So instead, I'm going to shake. Whenever I can't straighten the move, I'm going to shake the move.
shake and break.
So I'm going to shake and break here. So I go here and open until I at least create space if not break the legs apart. Then my hand comes in. Now this hand comes in for 1 or 2 reasons. Either it's to pull this hand the rest of the way in, or this one to pull it out. If I can pull it out, go back in this double underhook, kind of pass here. That's where we can go back in that pass here I mentioned earlier. Watch, you want to mention, I know you got one that you do.
Yeah, yes, sir. So this, first off, like you were talking about early, just don't let him get the legs together. Keep your hands together. So, you know, as long as my hands stay together, it's going to be hard for him to make something happen. From here, you can just jack him in the crotch. It will make it difficult for him. That's one option. Okay, but so a little bit more, a little bit later on the defense. So a lot of times, right here, I think in terms of if he's trying to get my arm across or my head down, right? He's trying to put my head down and make this arm heavy like Eli was talking about. A lot of times I'll take this hand, it'll come around under, and I'll cut the hip right here. Now, once I cut the hip, I'll shoot the hand through and cut the shoulder. Then I come up and start doing like a reverse stack right here. Okay, so that's one option. Another option is I'll actually give him my arm, but I'll keep it on this side of the head. So I'll dive my hand through. I'll put my fist on the ground. Now, this might seem really dangerous because it is. Yeah. The key is that I've got to stay centered in the middle of my foundation. So my knuckles go to the ground on either side of the head. I come up with my toes. So it's difficult for him to connect to me. He's got to pull me down, which uproots him, right? Now, I'm gonna walk around and I take his belly button directly over his forehead. And you say, well, what if he goes to the armbar, right? So he goes to the armbar, he's gonna break his own neck, right? He goes to the armbar or the triangle. So you can switch back and forth. A lot of times I'll cut the head, I'll bring my knee in so he can't do a full turn, which we did in one of our very first videos, right here. And then I just keep taking his belly button over his head until his legs break. And I just roll forward. Man, that works like clockwork.
Yeah, Jared, like I've got a decent triangle when I get that far into it, and you know, if I can get that far. But yeah, Jared does this to me all the time, and it from the looks of it, it doesn't look like it should work. But like he was talking about, if you understand principles of alignment and stuff, like you can really make a lot of stuff work that a lot of people can't. You know, and it's gonna look pretty identical, but it's that kind of like thing that you can't really see and you have to feel. So that stack right there.
So let's real quick on that stack. So you understand what's happening. See, if he's got a good connection here, and I start coming up, but I put my weight on him, then he has control over my foundation. He can topple me left and right, everything else, right? So that's not what I'm doing, right? As I come up, my hands go to the ground, and I'm standing. This is almost like vacant right here. It's hollow. So for him to crawl up me at all or do anything, he's got to he's got to crawl, but I'm not giving him any of my foundation. Now when I come over, the more he hangs on to the triangle or the arm lock, he just puts himself in a more compromising position and hurts his own neck.
Yeah, so. Yeah, it's nasty. Can this be a daily event? We live like an hour and a half apart, so we will try to make it more frequent. I want to do this at least a couple times a month. Good escape from non-dominant side control while trying to conserve some energy from non-dominant side control. Oh, I see. Spider guard moves, window knee on guards, defend triangle choke. Okay, spider guard. Let's talk about spider guard just real quick because I want to show. And briefly about the principles of spider guard, just like real fast. So we get to talk about that for a long time. Keep in mind though, things like spider guard, things like daily keeper, things like more tournament style guards. These are more aggressive guards. In my opinion, they have to be a little more aggressive guards. They're not places you want to go and hang out.
By nature, they're more aggressive.
Yeah, because there's more space and there's different connection points. So, and the interaction is different. The environment is different. So, I recommend being very aggressive when you're playing something like spider guard. And so, for that reason, like whenever we get here, just to kind of look at a brief entry point. If we start just if we start something like this here, then I want, first of all, my grips for spider guard, I want to be down here. I don't want to have like a pistol grip or anything like that. I want to hook here on the sleeve like this.
It's like a cuff type of grip, right?
Yeah, like that. I also want to think about the thumb pad here because this is not just for hooking and pulling. This can also be for pushing like that. So that's a very important kind of idea. Whenever we go here and I get my feet to biceps, if we're playing this kind of spider guard, which we could play lasso too, but if we're playing this kind of spider guard, I want to connect my wrist and forearm here, because one of the things, if he can circle his hand inside my leg here, yeah, that can make it difficult for me to maintain that grip. So a big thing that is very important for me is to close off that space, so if he wants to circle in, he can't really get inside there. Now another thing is I need to kind of keep pumping here. I want to keep him kind of off balance, so I'm kind of treating him like a marionette. So yeah, so we're kind of doing this kind of puppet control here like this. A good initial attack is either triangle or omoplata. I like omoplata better out of the two from here because like Jared can stack me pretty good too from here. So what I'm looking to do is I'm kind of going back and forth like this here. If I'm going to shoot omoplata, I'm going to drop this down here and I'm going to shoot this leg up. But as I do that, once my knee clears, I'm lifting my hip too, I'm stepping in this bicep. Once my knee clears, I'm punching this back and I'm taking this foot over here by his head. Now, at the same time, I'm keeping the foot on the bicep so that this can push him that direction over there and kind of take him off his foundation, using the inside of my thigh to drive him over this way. So once we get kind of here like this, I want to keep this, and if I can still even connect and use this here, then this is pretty good. So I want to, again, like an omoplata, you want to think, I want to get him flat to the ground before I think about finishing the execution of it. So I get here, I want to drive him over and out this way across, so that he goes elbow down, and then next thing I want to look to do is I'm going to turn this way and keep driving his shoulder to the floor. This hand's going to reach over, grab here some material as I come up, and I want to pull and drag. So I'm going to go here, scoot, pull, drag until he's flat. Now, once I come up here to finish on the platter, I'm going to sit up and I'm going to dive to the far side arm. We could just go here, hands to the floor, but he's got a lot better opportunity to roll out. If I get this arm here, he's not going to roll out. Like this is going to be a lot more controlling, and this in itself can be a submission, just pulling this back and going for the straight arm lock here, like that. You see that happen a lot of times in competition. So this is a very good, strong controlling position here and finish for that. So that's one of my favorite kind of attacks off of spider guard, because even if he doesn't give me that, he's going to give me another opportunity, like for a triangle or for a sweep of some kind. So now, what was that? That was about spider guard?
Yeah.
Show some effective techniques from guard position. That was, well, spider guard was kind of one of them. Your favorite move when you are in guard with an overhook on a trap. Scarf escapes, spider guards keys, how to escape your rear naked. Oh goodness. Okay, so let's back up. Let's talk about scarf hold escapes. Yeah, you want to tackle one of those?
Sure. Okay, so scarf hold. Now, so he's got my arm, he's got my head, right? One of the things I want is I want to get, usually right here he'll be kind of putting some pressure on me, right, by lifting up and dropping the weight into the yes. So I would like to amplify that to some degree. So I'm just gonna, I want to connect to his center with my center, okay? And now I'm gonna take my head to the ground and walk my hips out slightly. Now I'm gonna bridge and take his shoulder over his forearm. So it's very important you find the right alignment for this, the right path to go for this technique, because I'm not just pulling you out over me, but I'm going up and over right here, okay? Let me get back on here over here. So, all right, so my head goes to the ground to trap his wrist, right? I walk my hips out and away from him. Now, I use my shoulder to control inside his 5 points, right? The head, the shoulders, and the hips. Now, I look kind of away, I'm going to bridge, and I connect to his core, and then take his shoulder over his forearm, right? And it looks like I'm going to have to use much strength. I'm basically just making him do a roll. That's so easy.
Yeah, I'm completely weightless when Jared hits that angle. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so one thing though, right into real quick. They'll say, well, the guy's is kind of centered or whatnot. If I start scooting away hip, shoulder, and start like I'm going to get up to my knees or something, and pull away, as I go to pull, he goes to drive in. And that makes it so much easier, right?
Yeah. So that's an important idea right there, that you have to, committed energy is going to be easier to manipulate. So you have to draw the commitment out of the guy. You know, sometimes a person will give you commitment to that movement. You know, they'll be very committed, very linear in their attack, and that's going to be easier to attack to defend against, because it's just like one thing you have to really think about. Now, sometimes they're not going to be quite as committed to that movement. So then you have to do something to elicit more commitment to them. And whenever you elicit, get them to give you a more committed move, as long as you're prepared for that commitment to come in, you can easily kind of redirect that energy. So standing guard passes. That's cool. How about guard passes? So about standing guard pass. This is a good standing guard pass. This one's really solid, I feel like. We go here, and we're going to talk about with a gi. This can be applied on gi as well. But if I'm going to go from seated to standing to pass, which I prefer, I recommend that. That's my kind of go-to. I don't like passing from the knees personally. Jared's much better at it than I am, but I don't like it. When we get here, I'm going to get this center mass grip here. I want to try to get both lapels. I want to get my palm into his diaphragm. I want to grab here on the hip, and I want to tuck my triceps in toward my lats. And I want to get this good posture. So if he wants to sit up and pull me down and get in my collar, it's going to be very difficult. From here, what I want to look to do to split the guard, because I have to split the guard before I pass it, obviously. I want to step up on the side that I'm grabbing the center mass here, so that's my right side. I step my right foot forward here like this. I want to keep this tight to begin with. And then this foot over here, you'll notice I'm going to pivot on my knee. I'm not going to stand up right away. I'm going to pivot on the knee and wing it out like that. Now I'm going to do the seesaw move where this heel goes down and this knee comes up. As this knee comes up, this knee goes down toward the center. And what tends to happen because of that, here, it puts a ton of pressure on his leg and his hip.
You know why? There's a triangle.
It's too early. So once we get here now, I can pass one of two ways, depends on what the energy he gives me. I can keep this side open, I can look to pass through like a knee cut, or I can come back here this way and I can look to swim in and then finish with a stacking guard pass. right? But that's, to me, is one of the most solid ways to stand and to split in one movement, so I don't have to stand and then work to split. You got one?
I should have shown the triangle. So, finish the triangle. So,
I see the triangles.
you see the triangle. So, I'm right here. I set the foot up. I rigor the toes out. Now, the triangle is the hip, the knee, and the heel, right? So, as my knee turns up on this side and my knee turns in on this side, it turns his heel out and his knee in. And that triangle breaks the legs open, right? And then you go into your scoop or whatever, or knee slice or whatever from right there. So,
awesome. Good. Start recognizing triangles. Your jiu-jitsu gets better, like right away. Thank you guys. Thank you, Tony H. Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Brian. You guys are amazing. Let's see. Scissor sweep. I love the scissor sweep. 2 loop chokes yesterday. Awesome. Good job. Scissor sweep. This is like one of the first basic sweeps that you'll learn. And I think a lot of times with first basic moves, like think about upascape, scissor sweep, what's another one that people like learn, and then it's like they get their second stripe on the white belt and they're like, I don't need that move anymore.
yeah.
It's like, because you learn upa escape, and then it's like, after you learn elbow escape, people are like, I'm never going to use upa escape again, you know, because they lose faith in the technique. But the thing is, like, even if, like, I think that if you really learn that secondary or that complementary energy movement behind it, it's going to like solidify your first one. So anyway, scissor sweep kind of gets thrown to the wayside sometimes, but I think it's really good to have, at least for a threatening thing. Here's a couple reasons why. Let's just go from these. It's like, if we go through here, this is the way that I prefer to do scissor sweep. I want to go here and get the back of the seam of the knee here, above the elbow if I can. I want to get deep inside the collar like this. So I've got kind of a double threat working here that he has to respect. So whenever we get in this position, my guard was already open, but I'm going to open my guard. And I don't like to put my foot on the floor if I can help it. So I'm just going to make my legs heavy on his thighs. I'm going to lift my hips and throw my butt out to the side like a shrimp. And then my knee's going to come into the center of his chest here. And so I'm essentially playing a knee shield at this moment. And I think knee shield is a good place to hit scissor sweep sometimes. But this leg here is still on the outside. So the biggest thing that people leave out of scissor sweep is that whenever they go to do it, they tend to concentrate too much on the scissoring action of the legs, which is an important part, but it's not the most important part. The most important thing is that I go here, I block, and then I'm going to retract here. And as I retract, I'm going to keep my arms curling back and my shoulders moving back this way to take him off as a foundation and separate his balance over, like his wall over here like this. And as I do that here, I slice through, and then look, whenever I want to stay connected to him so that I can follow straight up to the mount and then maybe even start attacking right away, right? But the scissor sweep, for that reason, is a very powerful sweep. You can also threaten, I mentioned this one in the recent triangle video I did too, that I like this one a whole lot if he's keeping his elbows drawn inside. So if he's keeping his elbows drawn inside and this one's here on me, like this, I can hip out and I can go over his bicep here. So he feels me threatening the sweep, but I'm all up on top of his bicep. Now, whenever he feels that pressure, if he starts to try to pull his arm away here to get it free, I'm going to follow and then look, I'm going to snap this one up, bite here on the neck, and then from there, look to go to finish the triangle choke. So I can threaten scissor and go to triangle too. That's what I like about it.
One note on that scissor sweep that's super important is, so the guy's got, this guy got like a triangle base here. Yeah, so I swing the hips out. It's important that when I get in this position, that his weight is on that wall. Eli mentioned that, but it was briefly, and I want to make sure that you're clear about that. That the weight's teetering. So if he wants to sit that leg back down, he can't, right? So now as I put my shoulders back and kick over, he goes for sure right there. So that weight distribution is key. A lot of people try to go for a sweep and they can't hit it because the weight's not right. You go for a sweep when his center is right at the edge of his foundation. And if the center's not at the edge of his foundation, it's the wrong time for the sweep, right? You gotta make those circumstances right. You gotta make it right. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let's do 2 more real quick. So we've been on here a while, and Jared and I can literally talk for hours and hours. Mostly just to even hear ourselves speak. Like we're that vain. No. But if sneaky triangle entry. We kind of covered that on the last one, from the scissor sweep, so we tied that together.
We got 3 minutes left, maybe?
Yeah. So this one, Tim was asking, do you guys do weightlifting or functional strength work? Do you schedule it with training to prevent injuries, and any tips? Short answer, yes, to most all. Cliff's Notes version, yes. But Here's the thing, like you have to kind of figure out what kind of training, like supplemental strength and conditioning is going to be most beneficial to your jiu-jitsu game if that's what you want to do it for. If jiu-jitsu is just a recreational and it's a hobby or something, then that's different. You can do whatever you want to do if it fits your body type. But I think that for us, we've chosen this as a lifestyle and as an occupation too. So we have to keep our bodies in good shape. We have to stay healthy. We have to we have to keep ourselves as injury-free as possible, which is virtually impossible. I mean, it's going to happen sometimes, but we do try to keep ourselves in good shape. So picking the right kind of supplements and everything like that, but the core of the nutrition needs to be, observing like what's going to benefit your body the most, understanding your response to certain things. Jared might be better at being, he's super not, but just as an example, he might be better with like a vegan or vegetarian diet, whereas I might need a lot more like meat. And it's not to say not one person can benefit from the same diet. There's going to be certain things that are going to be almost universal, but I could say avocado is the most healthy food in the world. And then, well, it's not for someone who's allergic to avocado. Right. So you have to learn about yourself, and I think that's one of the most important things about diet. Strength training, again, keep it functional, and I would say at the forefront of that, not concentrating on the aesthetics. We all want to look good, I would like to look ripped and stuff and be big, but if that's going to hinder me in my jiu-jitsu training, I'm going to forego that. I'm not going to get so big and puffy or try to get so shredded that it's going to impede my performance, because this is more important to me than the aesthetics of it. What do you got?
I just try to eat clean and then roll, and most of my workouts are just doing the lessons with the guys and rolling, rolling the Bob and rolling the Eli and rolling with the other guys here in class and working up the sweat doing that.
Jiu-jitsu, you shouldn't, it should be good exercise in itself. Now, the problem is sometimes the more efficient you become, and depending on who you're training with and how you're training, you can get lazy and you can get complacent, but you should be able to structure your jiu-jitsu training to be a good workout in itself, because you're mixing together things of aerobic and anaerobic exercise. You're mixing together elements of functional strength building movements. You're mixing together elements of yoga and all these healthy things. So I mean, it should be in and of itself a really good thing for you. So, and
to that point, a lot of times, over the years, we've played with a whole bunch of stuff. I've done some kettlebell work. We've done yoga stuff. We've done we've gone running and stuff. So all the past when we're doing Muay Thai, that was a heck of a workout as well. So we do different stuff. I feel my body feeling good.
Yeah. So that's a longer answer, but yeah, that's this kind of listen to your body. And jiu-jitsu helps with that. Jiu-jitsu helps you learn about your body and listen to.
Jiu-jitsu teaches you to pay attention.
It does. Yeah. It does. Yeah. Okay, this is a good last question because it's asking about seminars. So it's what we have coming up. So what do you got coming up, Jared?
I think I'm making the date wrong. It's I think June 6th. I think I'll be in Wisconsin.
Awesome. So if you're in Wisconsin, where about Wisconsin?
Let's see.
Milwaukee?
Madison, Wisconsin.
Jared's in Madison, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin Martial Arts and Fitness Center. Let's see.
We're looking at putting together something in the near future together, like me and him. Jared and I love to collaborate, obviously, and we like to do seminars together. So,
if you guys want us, if you want to see us.
Are we frozen? No? Okay, there we go. We're back. All right, so where I'm going to be next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, I'll be back in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm going to be doing a Knee on Belly seminar. I'm going to be doing an instructor conference there. Where we're doing instructor evaluation games for Fit to Fight. So check out all the stuff that Fit to Fight has going on, and the Night Jiu-Jitsu affiliation with Fit to Fight, and going into some of their centers. So we'll be offering that through a lot of the Fit to Fight affiliates. So that's going to be a really awesome, exciting thing. And then also later on that week, the next weekend, I will be going on a Virginia tour, and I'll be hitting Hampton at 5 Pro Martial Arts on the 22nd, and then the 23rd. I might have these dates wrong. No, it's 23rd in Hampton, 24th in the Firma Training Center in Chesapeake, and I'll be going to Alexandria to Capital MMA and Elite Fitness, and that is the 25th. It's a Saturday. So check me out there, and then after that, I've got some dates coming up. I'm going to be going to Ocala, Florida. I'm going to be in San Diego. I'll be in Ohio, up at Synergy. So I've got a lot of things. I'll keep posting it, guys. So keep following us on social media and for our updates and everything. So Facebook, IQ Jiu-Jitsu for Jared on all the social media platforms. Night Jiu-Jitsu for me, of course, I'm here on YouTube and on Instagram if you're not following me on there right now, and then Facebook and all that stuff. Again, guys, this was kind of like to try to get back to you guys. I already tried to put up a lot of videos and a lot of information for you guys anyway. Did I mention my Patreon? Okay, I'll do that later. I really appreciate everybody who watches on here and interacts with me and asks questions and gives me feedback too about the videos, and even if it's not positive feedback, because I learn from that and I try to improve on that. I don't want to be too obstinate to listen to people if they say, this video was just garbage. I didn't get anything out of it. I haven't had that luckily yet, but if somebody has critique and criticism, I'm going to try to improve the quality of the video somehow that I can. But I appreciate you guys watching me, subscribing to me, and following all this stuff. And I want to keep interacting with you guys because teaching is what I've chosen to do for my life, just like Jared. And this is what we absolutely love to do. And it's a pleasure and honor. And we're the most fortunate guys in the world to get to do this with you guys. So thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. So this is a dream come true for both of us. We're out here living our best life ever. So. One
other thing I just want to say, for those of you who haven't known Eli your entire life, I have known him my entire life, and he's dedicated everything he has to this, and so I couldn't be more proud of him and thank him enough for what he's doing for the Jiu-Jitsu community and for you guys and for myself and for everything. So hats off. I'm honored to be your friend and be here along with you. So thank you for all that you do, and congratulations on 100,000 subscribers.
So we're gonna get off here before we start crying and hugging and stuff. So we end this while we're still tough jiu-jitsu guys. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate you all, and keep watching. Thanks.
See you later.